Reichle to the rim, slam dunk! For three, go! To Lucas for the win out of the corner. No! Beavers win it!
Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to the annual tip-off dinner. It's a little different in 2020, as everything is. I'm Mike Parker, joined by head coach Coach Tinkle, getting ready for his 7th season. Coach, I think we're 7 feet apart, so hence no masks, and we're serious. We know it's a very serious matter. If we were closer, we'd be masked up. But as it is, Coach, here we go. And this is just the way of the world in 2020. This is the tip-off dinner, and we're thankful to all the season ticket holders and donors who are tuning our way. This is just the way we've got to operate right now.
It's good to be with you. Yeah. Yes, it is. This has obviously been a trying year for all of us, but we certainly wanted to continue with this tradition and ultimately introducing our team and talking about this year's prospects, but thanking all of our supporters who done such a great job of staying on board with us. We appreciate it.
Coach, the last time, and I think you'll relate to this, the last time that I've honestly felt normal in life was watching you guys beat Utah in that dramatic game in Vegas. Jared shot, the big win. We're jumping up and down. We're hugging people around us. We're high-fiving. I don't feel like I've done any of that since, but that was a great day.
That certainly was, and I mean, it seems like forever ago, doesn't it? And how things have changed since then. But what a roller coaster. You look at the way we finished the regular season. The big weekend at home against Stanford and Cal, carrying that momentum into the first round against Utah, who gave us a heck of a fight. Our guys found a way to just make one more play. And it really, we've been around long enough. Those kind of plays on that kind of stage really are the difference maker to catapult you to do things, that you thought maybe weren't even possible. And we were going to face an opponent the next night that we had success against in the regular season. Felt really, really good, about that. And then to have it swept away was really tough, and it was just an emotional, just a gut punch, to get the news that next morning, to have to break it to our guys who we had just had our team meal with. The final scouting report had been delivered just an hour before. So, here we are, and a lot, like I said, has happened, but now we're really excited about this year's group, Mike, and they've been working their tails off. And I tell you, the returners have used that to fuel their fire.
You had finished so well, Coach. I mean, you talked about the way you'd finished with the 3 straight wins, the win of the tournament, another game that you felt like you could win. Who knew what the final destination or outcome was going to be? What have the last 8 months looked like? And then to be able to get back on the floor recently and begin real practices to get ready for the year. How did the guys handle all of that time?
Well, I tell you, you know how we run our program, and you know that we use lessons from the sport of basketball, to teach life lessons and the way they conduct themselves when they're not with us, the way they go about their academic workload, all in trying to teach lessons that, life isn't fair. Life's never going to be smooth and easy and rainbows and lollipops, and you've got to learn how to deal with it. Well, there's one example right there, how the season came to an end. You look at everything that's happened since then, beyond just COVID. And I'm telling you, these guys, I'm so proud of how they've banded together, how they've voiced their concerns and opinions. The leadership they've provided has been incredible. And preparing now for this season, there's been some hurdles along the way with, when we were going to be able to move forward, all those protocols, and they keep doing what's been asked of them. The responsibility and accountability that they've shown to this point has been great, and has us in a position where we're 2 weeks out, feeling very good about the prospects. Now we have a long way to go, but the diligence that they've shown and the discipline that I mentioned has us excited about what they're going to be able to do today or this year. Sorry.
Coach, tell us about the roster and the intriguing mix that it is with returners and new guys and freshmen and a redshirt freshman. I mean, it's an intriguing roster with it looks like a lot of versatility and components to it.
We're really excited about the group that we've added. You look at our roster and there's only 3 players that are past being or have been with our program more than a year. So we've got a lot of young and new faces, but they've done a great job to this point. And I'll start. You mentioned Maurice Calloo, who started his collegiate career at Oklahoma State. Has great size and skill at the forward positions. He can play multiple positions, can really stretch the floor with his ability to shoot it, can put it on the floor. We put him in pick and roll situations, isolation spots on the floor. Really, I think probably one of his underappreciated skills is his ability to pass it. He's so vocal, and he's really an intelligent basketball player. He's learned things and picked them up really quickly, and he's a willing learner, which is huge. His ears are always open, his eyes, and he wants to get better. So he's going to be a real tool for us. Going past that, I'll mention Warith Alatishe, transfer from Nicholls State. We're waiting on his waiver. We're not sure when that's going to happen, but a 6'7" athlete that was somewhat raw when he got to us, but has improved just in the last few months immensely. Can shoot it, attacking the rim. He's a high-level finisher. And then defensively, with his length and athleticism, I think he's really going to add something to that end that we haven't seen maybe since Gary was here, and he's 6'7", so maybe even more so there on the defensive end. Our only true freshman, Isaiah Johnson, out of Bishop Montgomery, 6'6", 6'7". Physically, he looks like he's maybe a junior, but just plays his tail off. He's a great athlete. I know he's already one of the team favorites just because he doesn't ever say a word, keeps his mouth shut, doesn't ever react to anything that goes against him, and he just plays his tail off. So very likable. We're working on his skill level, handling the ball, shooting the ball. But if you just throw him out there and say, sick him, he's going to go make some things happen and do things to help you win games. Tariq Silver, who we got from Tallahassee Community College, is a 6'4", 6'5" guard, has the ability to play on, off the ball, multiple position player. Again, you mentioned versatility. Shot the ball at over 45% from 3 last year. He's proven that he's a very skilled shooter, can put it on the floor, put him in some pick and roll situations. Just a playmaker. And then defensively, he's played zone, but a different zone most of his life. And so that's good in a way, even though ours is a little bit different. But we've got to get him, to be a great on-ball defender too, because we feel like he can really bring that for us. You go guard their best scorer out there and shut him down with his length, toughness, and athleticism. And then big Rodrigo Andela, he's reminds us a little bit of Daniel Gomez with just his physicality, and he tries to cover all over the court. By far, probably the most aggressive rebounder we've had in our time here on both ends. He's from the Cameroon, so sometimes things get lost in translation. We have to be very patient with him when we're coaching him up, but great attitude, works his tail off. And if you look across our roster and you see black eyes and bruised arms and bruised ribs, it's probably he's got something to do with it. Not in a vicious way, but he just plays his tail off. So he's going to really be a force for us inside on both ends.
I know we could spend time talking about all of the returning guys, and we'll be visiting with some in a moment. But in terms of the veteran players you do have coming back and what your expectations are for them, what is your sense about those guys, the guys you've mentioned that have been in the program now for a while?
Well, the three guys that I mentioned earlier are three of the more experienced players in our conference. Starting with Ethan, I don't know that anybody in the league this year has started as many games as he has. So that in itself is going to be huge. They all had great off seasons. Zach changed his body. He's really put on some weight and not lost any athleticism. He's shooting it at a high clip, but he's both very comfortable in their skin and what's expected, but then also they know that we're asking even more. And I think the maturity of them being in their senior year will make that happen. Alfred Hollins as well. He's a guy that's logged a lot of minutes and started a lot of games, so we're going to lean on those three guys. But with the talent that we've added, with the other returners, I think it's going to be a team you don't have to put the weight of the world on any one or two guys like maybe in the years past. So balance and depth, I think, as long as that depth continues to produce, will be a strength of ours.
It looks like you've added some real, not just Rodrigue and his bruising style, but a lot of physicality to this roster.
Yeah, we'll definitely look like a different team in warm-ups and in the airports. Big Tuck has had as good an offseason as anybody, both in the weight room and on the court. Roman's really so far in fall camp, has been impressive. The guys that we've added, so we feel like that's going to be one of our strengths. And I was asked in the Pac-12 Media Day about our toughness defensively, getting back to where that was a real strength of ours. And I think the athleticism and the added bulk and strength are going to help to that end. So, I didn't want to forget to mention, guys like Gianni Hunt and Jared Lucas, also two guys that have had great off seasons. Jared's a guy a lot early on in trying to give everybody rests in our repetitions in practice, has played a lot at the point and had some really good days there. So adding again to our versatility, Gianni continues to grow his game. And then our only redshirt from a year ago, he's a redshirt freshman now. Julian he's been really impressive. His confidence is up. We told him, you need to be a guy your freshman year now that we can throw in there and say, don't let him get another shot off at multiple spots. Mm-hmm. And then the confidence that when the ball's in his hand offensively, he's going to make positive plays for us. So, it might be interesting trying to keep guys happy. I think that's the case in today's game of basketball anyway, but we'd rather be in that boat than being shorthanded.
Final thing, Coach, and that is a sense of every year, for good or bad, Pac-12 Media Day comes and goes and releases and first and second team and predictions and all that come out. I always feel like when I see things that you say don't line up with maybe a sense of the guys and their own expectations, I kind of like that from a chip on the shoulder mentality. I've always thought that serves you. It's your mentality. It's the guy's mentality. You can't put much stock in it, yet on the other hand, if you can derive something from it, go to it, right?
Yeah, I don't watch those things. I was a little surprised when I heard that.
Yeah.
A lot of that obviously goes on who you lose. But I think twofold, that maybe they don't appreciate what we're bringing back and they don't have an understanding of what we're bringing in. And I'm that way too. It's us against the world. let's put our backs against the wall and let them come at us. But I was reminded that the last time we were picked 12th, we set some school records and went to the NCAA tournament. So.
There you go. So that we're set up. By the way, guys, you do lose in terms of what's next for Trace, the all-time leading scorer leaving here. You've been here 6 years and coached him in 5. How does that feel? It's a little different. How's he doing, by the way? And what's happening for him with respect to the draft?
Yeah, well, it was tough, especially that first day coming in, knowing that he wasn't going to be on the court when we started practice was a tough one for me. But it's not that I was somebody else during his time here, but it's allowed me maybe to free my mind up a little bit and to just coach and not have to worry about maybe what anybody else's thoughts or impressions were. So that's good. And then making up for what we lose in he and Kyler, it's going to be fun to see which guys respond and step up to that challenge. But he's been working his tail off. He's preparing for next week's draft. There's a handful of teams that have high interest, but he understands that reaching that goal of making the NBA, the draft is just one avenue. There's many others. So we'll anxiously watch next Wednesday, but then be prepared because it really starts in earnest. The next step for him Thursday morning, not Wednesday night.
Right. Coach, it's great to see you. Thanks. We look forward to the season, November 25th against somebody. We look forward to that and the rest of the way in a very intriguing 7th year. It's great to see you again, Coach. Thanks.
Great to be back
time.
with you, buddy.
Thanks.
Excited for this season and what we're going to be able to do. So good to be with you. Thank you, Beaver Nation. Go Beavs.
Maurice, it is great to meet you. Thanks for joining us on this tip-off dinner, virtual style. Everything's a little different in 2020, but we're glad to have you part of Oregon State Beavers basketball and Beaver Nation. How's it all been going for you so far?
Everything has been going well. I'm glad to be here. Just looking forward to having a great season. A lot of school and just adapting to 2020.
You have had quite a journey to become a Beaver. I kind of want to go all the way through it since this is our first chance to visit and for Beaver Nation to get to know you a little bit. So if you don't mind, take us back to where you grew up, Windsor, Ontario. Was that your hometown? You grew up there, and when did basketball become part of your life?
So I grew up in Windsor, Ontario. I was born in Toronto. Okay. I moved out of Toronto when I was about 7, 8 years old. Went to Windsor. Played basketball from sixth grade. That's when I started to take basketball really serious. And then went to high school 1 year over there in Canada. Then I transferred over to prep school in the States, Henderson Prep. Mm-hmm. I did a year there, 2 years there, and then I transferred to Oak Hill Academy my senior year and went to Oklahoma State my freshman year. Ended up transferring to go to a JUCO. Persevered at JUCO. I stayed in the gym all year long and reached all the goals that I wanted to reach that I set out for that year. And it brought me here to Oregon State where I want to be.
That's a great thumbnail sketch of a lot of years in your life, and I want to kind of get back to it in a moment. But you mentioned Oak Hill Academy, and I had mentioned earlier in other contexts and Reed that your favorite athlete ever, Carmelo Anthony.
Yes, sir.
Tell us when you kind of came upon the phenomenon of Carmelo and how he became your guy.
I'd say when I first started to my freshman year of high school, a lot of coaches were really saying I was versatile like him. And they were saying I could be the next Carmelo coming out of Canada. Right. And stuff like that. So from there, I just did my research on him, did my homework on him, watched all of his highlights. I just loved the versatility that he had, the way he shoots the ball, puts it on the floor, rebounds, and things of that sort.
I've heard Coach Tinkle talk about your versatility. So in that sense, if you're picking a role model kind of guy, do you feel like, hey, I mean, you don't want to say yet, that you're at that same level, but do you approach the game similarly in that you want to be a threat in a lot of different ways?
For sure, definitely. I know that I bring a lot of versatility to the floor. Recently, I'm just trying to pick up all the things that Coach Tinkle has to put down on the defensive end, learning all the right logistics on where I have to be and right timings and help side defense and stuff like that. And I'm just being a sponge and just listening to all the coaches, Coach Thompson, Coach Marlin, all the coaching staff, and they're helping me move in the right direction.
Maurice, when you mentioned all the coaches, how did Oregon State get on your radar or you on theirs? I mean, what happened?
Coach Tinkle reached out to me, reached out to my coaches when I was playing at Indian Hills Community College. Coach Rupp, I got on the phone with Coach Rupp early. I liked the things that he said. Talked about school first, getting my degree, which that's a goal of mine, and basketball second, and just becoming the player I want to become and reaching all the goals that I want to reach when I'm done playing basketball. I feel like this was the right decision I had to make for myself.
You've mentioned it several times that the classroom and academics and getting your degree is important. Have you declared yet? Do you have an avenue in the academic world that's intrigued you? You have time to sort that out, or do you know what you want to do?
Right now I'm in communications.
Okay.
I feel like that's the direction I want to go into. I feel like it would be a great field for me.
Yeah.
Yes,
well, I can tell you're comfortable talking. That would be a natural fit for you. Has the program felt like a good fit? You're coming a long way. It's an unknown in a sense, but the things that Coach Rupp and Coach Tinkle and they talked about, hey, this is why we think you're a good fit here. Has it felt that way for you?
It definitely has. I love coming out here and playing with my teammates every day. From the jump, Coach Rupp and Coach Tinkle told me that they need all of us to just bring it every day and come here to be the best that you could be. And I feel like that's what we've been doing, and we're moving in the right direction. And I feel like it's going to be a really great year.
There's a lot of great hoop at the junior college level. I'm always interested to know, though, when somebody makes the jump from JUCO to this level in the Pac-12, is there a difference in terms of what goes on in practice? I'm sure it varies from JUCO to JUCO, but you were in a great program at Indian Hills. So, what's the transition like coming to this level?
It's a great transition. I loved it. I'd say the biggest point that our weights is different in JUCO. So coming down here, we do a lot more weights, and I feel like it's been working out in my favor. I'm getting bigger, stronger, faster, and things of that sort. So yes, sir.
Good. Now, last couple of things, and that is maybe the most important thing. You introduce yourself on a video that's available on the OSU Beavers basketball page. You say hello, you introduce yourself, and you say, I'm 6'8". The program, the roster that I've been working off says, Maurice Calloo, 6'10". Are you somewhere in between? Are you 8? Are you 10? Are you 9? I mean, what is it?
I would say I'm somewhere in between 6'9", 6'10" with shoes.
Okay.
So.
And what can Beaver Nation expect? That we're going to see all these games on TV. I don't think fans are going to get to see you. But when your game's going, when you're in your right flow, what does your game look like? So you give us a sense of how you like to play.
Start inside out, shoot threes, shoot mid-rangers, pull-ups, pass a lot. I could pass the ball very well. I feel like this year I'm focused on rebounding, so you guys get to see a lot of that. And just being a leader on and off the court, being vocal and things.
What about this? Up and down. You like to run, get out in the open court.
For sure. I want some fast break dunks. And I know my point guards will get it to me.
We look forward to that. It is a real pleasure to have you in the program, Maurice. It's been quite a journey to get here from Toronto to Windsor to Oklahoma State to Indian Hills, but where you belong now at Oregon State. We really appreciate it. Thanks for taking time for us.
Thank you very much for having me. Go Beefs.
Ethan, it is good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. We'll start with baseball, since that was the last memory, and a pretty good year for you. If your favorite athlete's LeBron and your baseball team's the Dodgers, you're feeling pretty good right now.
Oh no, I'm feeling great right now. And it's tough because in 2020, everybody's saying that the championships and the World Series have a little asterisk next to it, but it's okay. I know LA's not done winning.
Your dad did send out or tweeted, I don't know, somebody did in your family, of you guys at Dodger Stadium. You have a lot of memories like that. Dodger Stadium, Laker game. I mean, what are some of the things you remember doing as a family in LA?
Yeah, no, definitely a lot of Dodger games. Going up to Dodger Stadium was always just a fun time to be with the family, and I can't wait till, you know, fans are going to be allowed to go in again, and just so we could experience that.
Has it felt normal to get back to practice at least? Has that given you a sense that this feels like something you're used to?
Yeah, definitely. You know, just going into practice, it took a minute to, you know, get that feeling of normalcy back, just because, you know, going into quarantine, you weren't around as many people. So then it was kind of, you know, just taking that first step, getting to be around, you know, my teammates and stuff, you know, in close distance and all. So I had to, you know, switch back to that. But, you know, now it's starting to feel normal, and I feel safe, you know, with all the corona protocols and stuff. So that's good.
Ethan, from the time of the big win over Utah and the end, what did you do? I mean, how did you see your life evolving to stay in the best shape you could, to keep your basketball game sharp? What kind of things were available to you?
Yeah, you know, I was out here staying at my parents' house, and you know, we have like a little weight room, weight bench we have set up. You know, I was able to lift there, work out in the garage, you know, work on some ball handling, passing stuff. And then the main thing was trying to just stay in shape in terms of cardio. So, you know, when we weren't allowed to get into the gym or anything like that. So just going on jogs and runs. There was a pretty big hill up by my parents' house.
I know the area. That's really big going up that way.
The hill is very steep. So, you know, my dad kind of took me and my brother, who was out here at the time. We would go up there, try to sprint up it a couple of times a week. So that was good.
In that sense, do you feel like you came in the best shape of your life?
I mean,
close?
Yeah, close to it. I don't feel like I missed too big of a step in terms of that. But yeah, I think that hill was very productive. And it's funny how life works, because when we were younger, in like middle school age, my dad would come pick us up from school, and there was a hill similar to the one I'm referencing. We would go run up that thing as well. So yeah.
Coming full circle then, what about, did you run the beaches sometimes too, those sand workouts? Yeah,
definitely. We would do that. We would start on the hill, and then my middle school is about like 10 minutes away from the beach. So then we would go, you know, do our push-ups, sit-ups and stuff, and run to the pier and back. So that was good. Yeah.
Growing up in Southern California, but you've been here now a long time, and Corvallis a little different than the Southland. But as you get ready for your senior year, what has your whole experience been like here, Ethan?
It's been very positive. I think, you know, coming to Corvallis, it's a unique environment compared to other college campuses, just because, you know, it is a college town, and it's great to experience that, especially as a student athlete, because, you know, the fan base goes so hard for, you know, all the sports teams, and I wouldn't get that same love and support in Los Angeles, because you got, like how we said, the Dodgers, Lakers, Clippers, all the other teams, you know, kind of just in Corvallis, there's nothing but the Beavers, and the focus is on you, so that's great.
What are your sense of expectations? I know it's a lot of new faces, a lot of new guys, but I always feel like, and I haven't been able to see you much in this camp, but I like what I see. And you're the veteran guy with Zach and a couple others and Al, but what about this group, after all you've been through, what you think this group's capable of?
Yeah, no, I think this group is capable of great things. You know, we have a winning mentality as a team. You know, just going through this kind of period, you know, before season, new guys are picking stuff up pretty quickly. And, you know, it's not always like that. And I think this group has a lot of experience, and our team has a lot of depth for that reason.
How do you feel the style of play? Will it feel a little different, look a little different than maybe how you functioned these last 4 years, for example?
Yeah. I think we have a lot of guys on our team that like to run up and down, you know, get after it defensively. And, you know, we're going to be able to keep fresh bodies on the court just because of the depth that I was talking about earlier. And so I think we could play at a faster pace, but also I think our guys are smart enough to, slow it down and execute plays on the fly. So that's good.
I heard I've talked to you about this before, but another of your former teammates out of Bishop Montgomery coming, Isaiah Johnson. Is Coach Tinkle right when he says he's the quietest guy maybe ever, but he plays hard on the court?
Yeah, no, he's quiet for sure, and he's kind of lets his actions speak, for themselves. But he is, just because he's quiet doesn't mean that he's not engaged. He's always going to be involved in every single play, whether it be on the boards and the passing lanes or making a drive to the basket. And he just kind of has that knack for just being in the right place at the right time.
Ethan, the last thing I want to ask you about well, two things actually. The fact that you got a degree during the course of the pandemic and the shutdown, and you didn't get to go through the whole walk-in and ceremonial thing. Yeah. Is that a bit of a letdown? Might there be another time? Did you have anything that you were able to do to celebrate such a great achievement in graduating from Oregon State?
Yeah, no, it was a big step for me graduating this summer. In terms of celebration, there wasn't too big of a celebration. It was just people that I was quarantined with, me, my mom, dad, and my brother. It was a lot of Zoom calls with family members and stuff, congratulating me. But we haven't yet had a big celebration with the whole family yet. Hopefully we're able to get that in, when it's good.
Well, you certainly deserve it, and look forward to that day. When, you and so many so many things like that have just been put on hold. You use Zoom. Are you completely used to Zoom as the way of life, or are you zoomed out, or a little bit of both?
No, it's a little bit of both for sure. Sometimes I'll be in class and it's my turn to answer a question. I give half of the answer, I'm still on mute, and people try to flag me down and stuff. But other times, I try to look at the positive. It's just a unique way to experience class. So I like that I could be on my couch or in a comfortable spot in my home. So.
Well, you've been a great student, you and Zach, all academic again this past winter, and so congratulations on that and for graduating as you did this past summer. Last thing though, and that is basketball and your own game and how you think. Is there anything that you have sort of as a personal goal about, hey, you've done a lot of great things in your career here. You were 5th in the league in assists last year. You were 3rd in minutes played. You averaged nearly 15 a game. Do you have some goals about how you want to play this year?
I wouldn't say one specific goal personally, but one thing that I feel like I need to be doing, going into every game is just having the winning mindset. And I think that is easy to do with the group of guys and the coaching staff that we have, just try to win every single game, not just compete, but win. And, carry that throughout when it comes postseason.
It's a great answer. Do you have any goals? Yeah, win. That's a good answer. Win games. Ethan, it's been a joy to be around you and Stevie and your dad and your mom and your whole family all these years. It's hard to believe we've gotten to a senior year, and it won't be the same a year from now. But I'm glad we got a year ahead after all. Thanks for taking time for us, Ethan.
Yep, thank you for having me. Go Bees.
Zach, it is good to see you again. Our paths have crossed sort of here and there. But I will say the last time we talked at length was in Las Vegas on the Strip. The next day, I'm sitting there reading in a cup of coffee, and you were walking, family and friends on the Strip. The Strip was slowly beginning to thin out. Coach Tinkle said that felt like a lifetime ago. It was 8 months ago. When you look back, does it feel like a different life when you think about that?
Yeah, completely different. I mean, I'm sure everyone can say that, but this past 8 months have been just crazy, and I guess it's kind of gotten normal, but hopefully it gets back to actual normal soon here.
From the last time then that we were all together in Vegas for the tournament and you guys were finishing the season so well, what have you done? Tell us some of the things that you worked on, how you tried to find a way to cope and find a routine and a rhythm before practice resumed officially.
Yeah, well, when everything went down, I actually moved back home to Wilsonville, like most guys did. So I was home for during all spring term and most of the summer until we came back here. But really, I just tried keeping myself on a regular schedule. I would get up pretty early every morning and work out with my brother in the garage. We kind of had a makeshift gym in the garage for 6 months, and obviously ball handling and footwork and all that type of stuff we could do on our own. And in terms of shooting, we have a hoop on a hill in front of our house, so I guess it wasn't too realistic, but we would just try to go to parks and everything, and we would play one-on-one and work on our moves and do drills and stuff. And then it got to the point where actually they took like the rims off of the...
I noticed that happening in parks all over. Rims, nets, gone.
Yeah, so they started taking the rims off the parks and everything, and I couldn't even actually get into our high school gym. Figured I'd be able to get into Wilsonville, but Coach Roach or no athletic directors, anything could pull any strings. So yeah, it was different, but just had to find a way and adapt and find different ways to get better, and that's what I did.
So you sounded like you did the best you could to stay in shape. Ethan talks about running hills with his dad, kind of a new thing that he did back to the days of his youth. Did you find from a cardio standpoint and all of that, you did find a lot of things you could do?
Yeah. I mean, I only lived 2 blocks from Wilsonville High School, so my brother and I, we would just go to the football field and just do cardio there every other day. So.
And for you, coming into a senior year now, Zach, what's your sense of you've seen a lot in your arc in your career here. This team feels more than any team I've seen Coach Tinkle have. A lot of new faces, different. What do you think? I mean, you've been around and seen it all. How does this group strike you?
It's obviously different without Trace and Kyler. I mean, those are 2 huge parts we're missing, but I also think we're bringing a lot in. I'd say probably the biggest thing is versatility and athleticism. I think probably since Coach Tinkle's been here, this may be the most athletic team we've had. I think that gives us a chance to do lots of different things on the defensive end. But I think, even though, like you said earlier, me, E, Al are really the only guys who have been here for more than a year. But I don't really think that'll make too much of a difference other than, adapting them to the system and everything, because a lot of guys have experience here, whether it's in JUCO or other programs. But I'm excited for this group and excited to see where we go.
You talk about doing different things defensively. How much of a learning curve, though, is there in that for guys that are trying to pick up language, concepts, coverages, all of that? Do you think that's kind of a work in progress in the non-conference, but guys are adapting pretty quickly? Or?
Yeah, obviously in non-conference, that's where you try to work those things out, but we're getting thrown into the fire right away. And anytime anyone goes into a new program or learns something new, there's always different languages and stuff teams use. I think they're adapting well right now. It's been better this past week than it's been the entire time, and they can only go up from here. So yeah, it's exciting.
The 1-3-1 has been good to you guys in a lot of situations, but you lose some personnel that was key in it from last year's team. Can it still be a good weapon?
I believe it can. Okay. Yeah, and especially with the guys we're bringing in, how athletic they are. Like Coach was saying earlier, Isaiah and Maurice, they're insanely athletic, and having them at the top of the 1-3-1, I think can be very, very good for us. So I think it'll be good. Even though we're losing some parts, we're also bringing in parts we didn't have previously. So it'll be a different look, and I think it could still be as effective.
When you mention athletic, I've heard NBA coaches say things like, everybody says they want to run more, but when they may say they want to, but it's hard. It is hard to push and to run consistently. And yet I've heard a couple of voices in this tip-off dinner talk about how that may be a little bit more because of the athleticism. Do you expect to run a little bit more, and do you like the sound of it?
Yeah, I love running the, up and down, full court, all that, pushing the ball once we get the rebound. I think we have the potential to do that. Obviously, having the personnel to be able to do that is a big thing, but also being in shape is another big thing. You can't run like that if you're not in shape. So I think we have the potential to do that as we get in better shape, to do it at a high clip. And so that's something that'll be unique about this team.
And for you, Zach, winning is the whole goal, no matter what your role is in it, to contribute to wins or anybody else. I think that's the best answer and the right answer to a question. But is there any part of your game, you mentioned ball handling earlier, but is there just an aspect in this final year of your game that you really want to see some push and growth and improvement in, or areas you're excited about for your game this year?
One thing I worked on a lot was just my 1 to 2 dribble pull-ups in the paint and reading the defense, more reading past my man who's guarding me in the weak side defense. Instead of, there's times where I beat my man and I'll just go into the paint and I'll get hammered or something. I might get a call, might not get a call. And so one thing I've actually worked on a lot with Coach Rupp ever since we've been back here was once I beat my man, reading the weak side defense and getting to that 1 to 2 dribble pull-up, 8 to 10 to 12 feet to where I'm, don't have to sacrifice my body as much or get beat up as much during the game. And, the game I play, for myself is I'm a super hard player. I play super hard, and usually when I go into the basket, I'm going all the way. And so one thing, like I said earlier, is just reading the defense so I don't get clobbered as much going in the paint.
If you do get knocked down and clobbered and get rewarded, that's not always a given, as you know, in our game and in the league. But when you do, you hit your free throws, and the Beavers last year led the league and set a school record. So that's not by accident, though, is it? I mean, when you guys step to the line, you knock them down. You won a lot of games by doing that. Where does that mentality come from?
Yeah, just in practice, just putting us in different situations to where we have to hit those free throws. Whether it's at the beginning of practice, end of practice, we always end practice shooting free throws. So I think just putting ourselves in those game-like situations in practice can help it translate into the game like it did last year.
Do you take any motivation or do you not care? Is it outside noise if a media poll comes out and don't look at the Beavers too favorably, or do you take motivation from that?
To me, I think you have to take it with a grain of salt. They're just, they're thinking what they think, and that's their job. So that's just the way I think about it. I don't really care. We know what we're capable of. We know what we can do. So the media has never really impacted the way we play. So
I'm glad to hear it. I'm speaking as a member of the media, but he's absolutely right. We don't know anything, I promise you that. But I do know, Zach, it's been great to follow you in your career and really appreciate
Thank you.
everything you've done at Oregon State so far with a lot ahead. Thanks for taking time for us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
My name is Alfred Hollins. I'm on the men's basketball team for Oregon State, and I am currently a senior this year. Oregon State has provided me with the opportunity to better myself off and on the court and be able to fulfill my dreams that I set out academically and with basketball as well. The message I would give a donor who has helped provide for my scholarship is that it's very much appreciated, and every day I go to school and go to practice, I think about that all the time and just take that in the back of my head that it's an opportunity that, that can't be taken too lightly.
Zach Reichle, senior guard for Oregon State men's basketball. Oregon State has provided me with friends, opportunities, and memories that will last a lifetime. I just want to say thank you to all of our donors for not only giving me the opportunity, but also other athletes to have a life-changing experience that will change their lives forever.
Jared Lucas, Oregon State men's basketball sophomore guard. Oregon State has provided me an opportunity to live out my dreams of playing Division I basketball, and also an opportunity to achieve all of my dreams academically. Thank you to all the donors that have helped contribute and allow athletes like myself and the rest of my teammates to achieve all of our goals on the basketball court and in the classroom.
Ethan Thompson, senior, Oregon State men's basketball. Oregon State has provided me with a lot. I was able to get my degree through Oregon State. I was able to make a lot of key relationships that I think will last the rest of my life here at Oregon State. And it has blessed me with the opportunity to play basketball at a high level. I just want to take the time to say thank you to all the donors who have helped support my scholarship financially, and as well as my teammates. We're grateful for it. It gives us opportunity to do what we love and to further our education, so we can't take that lightly.